Hey, Bronze Age Nerd here. Today we're going to talk about another action figure. This one is Scarlett. It's from G.I. Joe's The Classified series. So this is the newer paint style for Scarlett. Basically, they changed a lot of her paint apps for the next release of her, which is the same mold, pretty much the same figure, except for we lost the gold colored armor pieces that were on her. They've painted those more muted colors. She has a darker torso. They also took her bright orange hair she had and made it more of a realistic red hair style. And her face paint apps were a little bit cleaned up as well, and she looks a little bit more mature compared to the first version that they released. I've got an empty box here because I've already freed her from her plastic prison. This is a figure that I got as a Christmas present, kind of. My wife gave me the original version of Scarlett because that's what I asked for, so she did an awesome job. I didn't really expect her to get it for me. At one point I mentioned, hey, there's this new one coming out. If you're going to get that, don't worry about it because there's this new paint job on this new version of the figure that I'd rather have. And she gave me a look that told me right away that she'd bought the figure for me, and, well, she's awesome. Let's just put it that way. She was totally understanding. I opened up that one on Christmas. It was a cool present to get, and then we returned it to Amazon, and I ordered a new one from Dorkside Toys. That got here a couple days ago, so I've already opened up the figure and had a chance to play around with it. And basically, I'll give you a couple packaging shots. Pretty cool art there on the side. Standard, what we've been seeing for the poster mural on the background. And her stats or whatever that they're doing on the right, which they're on the left, I guess. Anyways, I can't stand those. I wish they'd go back to a file card, but whatever. I don't actually care about packaging. I'm not an on-card collector, so whatever. That's what it is. I know a lot of people are on-card collectors. I'm just not one of them. So I pretty much only care about the figure itself. And let's talk about that. One thing about this figure is she does stand pretty well on her own, which is always a plus with an action figure, as we all know. So many do not. Definitely a better face paint on this particular figure. I think they used a better technique. The darker hair definitely helps. And we lose the gold armor with the ugly blue highlights. Her muted color scheme throughout her costume or uniform is pretty dang good. I do think this version of the paint brings out a lot of the details on this costume a lot more. And we can look at articulation. She has single jointed elbows, which do not allow for a ton of movement or posability. Her shoulder pad does not seem to impede her upper arm movement too bad because it does have a very wide opening at the top. She has a good amount of forward ab crunch and can sit in a good position. And she has a good amount of back arch. Because of her ponytail, it can be hard to make her head look up, but even when you move the ponytail to the side, her head doesn't want to go up very far. She does look down pretty well. She has good forward movement on the leg. She can kick pretty dang high. And gets into a pretty natural pose for somebody who's ninja trained. She does have drop legs too, which is nice, and foot pegs on the bottom. For weaponry, Scarlett comes with 3 knives. They're all identical, and they fit pretty well in her hand, and she does have this forward pivot on the hand, which is nice for knife or sword or even gun hands. And 2 of the knives store in her quiver for her crossbow, which has very nice detail on it. There is a mark on the back of her hair. I'm not sure if the camera can really pick that up. And she does have this forward-mounted chest sheath. Crossbow comes in 2 pieces. I've noticed it pops off quite a bit. I'm not really sure what the benefit of having it in two pieces is. And it can be a little finicky to get the rear part of the draw back into its retainer. No paint on the crossbow, but at least it's black. If you're not going to have paint on a weapon, it should be black. Or gray or silver, perhaps. But this looks really good. Would be nice to have more detail on there, though. You can get into some pretty natural firing poses. So something that I'm always curious about watching an action figure review is how quickly can you get the figure into a somewhat natural or dynamic pose without them falling over, where they're able to stand on their own 2 feet. And so it doesn't take too much work or effort to get her back into this pose, similar to what I had her in to begin with. I mean, I moved around a little bit, so I feel like that's a pretty good test. Here's Scarlett paired next to her main man, Snake Eyes. They look really great together. And here's Scarlett next to the other Joes in my G.I. Joe the Classified series line. Snake Eyes, Duke, and Gung Ho. Overall, Gung Ho definitely sticks out now in this setup, and I feel like Duke's not far behind. There is the re-deco for Duke, but I actually don't think it made as big a difference as it did on this figure. And overall, I think this figure did a very good job improving over the original, and I'm very happy that this is the Scarlett that got added to my collection.